Welcome back, everyone. Well, I'm live here from the fishing hut. Not quite. Just relaxing here in my yard. I've got my fishing hut set up because I'm just testing out my new mini stove that I made in the hut before I get it ready to go on the ice. We've had some strange weather here lately, so the ice isn't very strong. A lot of rain coming tomorrow, actually. So I'm just out here today, just meditating in my yard here with my ice hut. I wanted to give you the latest update, though, on my laser eye surgery. I just had my 3-year checkup, so let's find out how it went. You guys know I've been working on my canvas tent, and I have to make a sleeve for it out of fiberglass. So I actually made the fiberglass sleeve right here, and I actually made it to fit the ice fishing hut. So one of my windows here actually can open up. There's Velcro there. So what I did was I made you know, the fiberglass sleeve here, and I put Velcro around it so I can peel it off and I can put it on this tent or my baker's tent. So this is awesome. It's a game changer. Fire's really going in there. Just sitting in here really enjoying this little stove. It's great. On a side note, I've been trying to get proper stove elbows there. It is super hard to get a stove pipe, you know, 90-degree elbows in the 4-inch size. I've tried everywhere. There's even a place in Canada that makes them, but they don't sell them to Canada. It's only in the US. So I could get them shipped to like a PO box in the US, but then it's going to be to go across the border to go get it. So really not ideal situation that's going on right now with that. So I've got this sort of cheap 90-degree aluminum elbow, and I just hope it doesn't burn out, but I don't like that galvanized stuff. It makes a horrible stench. I really don't want to get the shakes from burning off the zinc oxide coating. Ugh. So before we talk about my PRK update, I'm just going to get this backpacker's pantry heated up. As you can see here, this one is the Chiang Mai coconut curry with beef and vegetables. So I'm going to get this going. I've got to add a couple of cups of boiling water to it, let it sit for a bit. Then we'll chat about PRK, and then I will sample this and let you know if this backpacker's pantry ready-to-eat meal is worth your time or not when you're out camping. I like testing these things out now just to see if I like them or not. Looks like it's got a little oxy-free dehydrating packet in there. Don't want to eat that. But so far, looks like lots of veggies in there. Food I can identify. I like that. Just gonna add my 2 cups of water. All right, water's added. Already smells like coconuts. I'm just going to mix it around a little bit, and we're going to let it sit while I talk to you a bit about how my eyes have been doing 3 years after my surgery. So for those of you who may not be familiar with my surgery, I had laser eye surgery 3 years ago. Almost 3 years ago. It was actually February 2017. So February 3rd, 2020 is going to be my 3-year anniversary. But I had my eye checkup recently, so I thought I'd let everyone in on how I've been doing, and I'll let you know some changes that I've noticed since the surgery. So the PRK surgery is a form of laser eye surgery, and laser eye surgery corrects my vision. The goal is to correct it to 20/20 so that I don't need glasses. So I did that. I did a whole episode from TheWildYam on that. So if you guys want to see that, I'll put the link right here. And I documented everything, you know, throughout the surgery procedure, how it went. So it was very successful. As you guys know, my last checkup a little over a year ago, I had 15 out of 20 vision. I believe it was in one of my eyes, and then 20/20 in the other. So together they can read 20/20. So my distance vision was perfect and better than perfect in one eye. I still had a bit of astigmatism in my one eye, and the other one was perfect in terms of the astigmatism. So I've been going along really, really well. I was noticing some changes though in the summertime, noticing that I thought, I didn't know if it was tear film related, that my distance vision was getting a little bit different. So it was sort of maybe not as crisp. I was wondering if my astigmatism was coming back. So some of the letters were a little bit, you know, blurred at a far distance. I mean, I can still see really well at this point by the summertime, but I just sort of noticed it was a little bit challenging, especially in lower light conditions. So of course, like anybody else, you get a little bit like freaked out. You don't want to go see the eye doctor and find out the worst case scenario. So I tried adding, you know, eye drops just to kind of wet my eyes a bit, and really didn't seem to improve the situation. So I just saw the eye doctor, I believe it was last week. Yeah, last week. So that was a full exam. So everything from the surface of my eye to the back of my eye, just to make sure everything was fine. And this was the optometrist that I saw. And so as you know, you go into the office, and what they do then is they, you know, do everything. They check your eye pressure, they they checked the surface of my eye to check to see how the surgery was, how it healed. You know, they checked me right at the back of my eye to make sure I didn't have things like macular degeneration or glaucoma, or that I didn't have any cataracts. So I was a little nervous, of course, going through all these tests, and part of the testing involved, you know, putting drops in my eyes so that basically the black part of my pupils got really wide so they could take a picture of the back of my eye, which was super cool. I actually got to see that. So the word is that I still have 20/20 vision, which is great. What she mentioned was that individually, so when I read the chart with one eye and then I go with the other eye, there is a little bit of a decline. So I can see 20/25 individually with both eyes. However, when I had both of my eyes together, I managed to squeak out a 20/20. I'm sure I was doing a little bit of guessing, but you know, I was able to do it. And that's what I noticed is when I'm, you know, driving and around, you know, that I can do a good job. But it didn't really resolve the fact that I feel that there was a little bit of lack of crispness to the letters at the distance level. So what she also confirmed was that my astigmatism in my other eye has come back just by a touch, by a quarter. So basically both eyes have a touch of astigmatism. So the letters I see at the distance, you know, of 20, you know, the 20/20 vision, they won't be as crisp as they would for a person who didn't have astigmatism. So as you can tell, I'm a little bit frustrated that I'm, you know, not super perfect with the vision, although it is really good. And she says, you know, like, it is not worth getting the surgery again for such a minor adjustment. She said it's very minor at this stage. Someone who didn't have laser eye surgery, you know, she does not even recommend getting glasses at this stage. It is so minor, but I guess I was used to being, you know, almost overcorrected at, you know, 15/20 vision. So I could see, you know, at 20 feet what others could see at 15 feet for at least one of my eyes. So I was used to that, and having the astigmatism, you know, really fixed in the one eye, just a touch in the other, the compensation was perfect. So it was like crystal clear. So there's just a slight little adjustment there. She says the margin of error for the surgery, you know, wouldn't be worth going in again and correcting that minor of an adjustment. So I guess that's good news overall. I can still see fine. I don't need to have glasses again. And it is something that is expected. You know, I didn't go into this thinking that, you know, as I age that my vision's going to stay the same. You know, my whole life, my vision has always, like every few years, has, you know, decreased by a touch. And so that's when I would get a new pair of glasses because I wanted that super crisp level of vision. However, it's really not worth spending that kind of money to do that for such a minor adjustment. And again, I'm not squinting to see anything. It's just I notice a subtle, you know, difference in the distance aspect of it. So it's a normal aspect of aging. You know, they tend to overcorrect you after the surgery anyway, I find, so that as you sort of settle down over the first 5 years post-op, that, you know, you kind of settle down to a reasonable level of vision. But I have to follow up every 2 years with the surgeons who did my eyes, my laser eye surgery, because I did have included with my surgery an insurance policy that if I fell below a certain criteria, that I would have a no charge touch up to the PRK surgery. So I believe in the fine print of my contract, I think my astigmatism has to get to, I believe it's 0.75. Again, I'm at 0.25 and I've never been more than a 0.5. So, you know, if I got to 0.75, they would correct that at no charge. And then I believe I have to have like 20/40 vision, where, you know, I would need glasses to drive again, basically. That would be a criteria to get the surgery again, which I would. You know, that's the big question. Would you go through this again if you knew what you know now? And yeah, I would go through the surgery again. I think I'd approach it a little bit differently. It was a painful recovery. I think next time I would go ahead and use the drops that they had provided for me for the extreme pain. I kind of tried to avoid them because they had warned me of some complications if I used them too much. But I think I was the opposite extreme, and I didn't use them enough. So I think I would definitely go ahead and do that. I would definitely take more time away from work. I only took a week off. I found that was not enough. I found when I went back, even internal like house lighting was just way too much. Like I said before, I would never do the surgery in the winter. That is way too bright, too much light going on. It was really painful to recover in that, and that's why I needed to have sunglasses all the time. Which brings me to my next thing that my eye doctor actually noticed, was that I have UV damage to the white part of my eye. So right in the corner, especially on this eye and on this, right in the middle there, and on both eyes, but worse in my right eye, I have a condition that is induced by UV rays. So she could basically tell that I was an outdoors woman based on how my eyes looked. Basically means I'm supposed to wear sunglasses even in the wintertime. So hence why I'm wearing these. These are regular, these are my riders that, you know, these are for cloudier days. It brings in the light really nicely. I also have some for like really, really bright sunny days, you know, but those I find, you know, a little bit too dark. So for days like this where it's kind of overcast, I just kind of pop these on because the UV rays are still there. The condition I have in my eye is a very unusual name. I'm going to put the name of it right here. It sounds super hilarious to say, so I'm not even going to try, but that's what it's called. And it's not like a cancer or anything like that. It's just that there's like a growth on the surface of my eye induced by ultraviolet radiation, and it can get irritated too. And I was noticing my eyes were getting red, and she said that as those little things sort of raise on the surface of the eye, they can get irritated and red. So she gave me some drops to help with that. But basically my little PSA is wear your sunglasses in the wintertime as well as the summertime. It's another name for this. It's called surfer's eye. So if you're exposed to sun and wind, you're prone to get this condition. So I'm exposed to all of the above. So I will do that moving forward to protect my eyes. I certainly don't want any complications from the sun on the surface of my eyes. She also said that the surface of my eyes shows no haze or additional scarring from the surgery. So overall, it was a really big success. Well, let's give this Backpackers Pantry MRE a go and see what we think about it. It's been about 15 minutes, so let's see. Ooh, yeah, it smells really good. So about a serving is about half a bag, because it is pretty. I'll just show you the nutrient content there, if you can see that. But we've got yeah, for half the package, 85 grams. We've got lots of carbs. We've got 51 grams of carbs, 12 grams of fat, and yeah, 32% of your daily sodium intake at 730 milligrams. So that's a lot. So we won't dive into this too heavily right now, but let's just give it a taste, shall we? Ooh, nice. Got some nice noodles in there. Nice and hot. These insulated bags. Well, I shouldn't say insulated. They've got kind of like that metallic liner on the inside, so it heats it up. So here's what it looks like. It looks like actual food, not powdered food. Mmm. That's really good. Extremely flavorful. Lots of spices in here. Actually, it is kind of spicy. I don't know exactly. Oh, it's got turmeric, cumin. Oh, cayenne. That's exactly what I'm tasting right there. Yeah. That's good. You guys are going to like this if you go out in the backcountry. A lot of spice, a lot of salt. I'll just warn you of that if you're on that kind of a restricted diet in terms of like salt and fat. This is not for you. But really good in terms of like your carbs, your energy, high in fiber too, which is good. And apparently 80% of your vitamin C intake in here. So yeah, this is good. I mean, I'm not sure. I suppose the beef looks real. It does look like real food. Looks like something you'd make at home. So lots of nice chunks of veggies and appropriate amount of water to add, and the right amount of time to cook it. Yep, it gets the wild yam. Thumbs up. Right, a few of you wanted to see a couple things before we go, and one is what the Christmas tree looks like that I grabbed from the cabin, and it's decorated now at the house, so we'll have a quick peek at that, all lit up. And two, let's see what the baker's tent looks like. I'm working on it feverishly every night, come home and work on it. So we're getting there. I was hoping to have it all buttoned up and ready to go the next couple of weeks, so I've got a tight deadline, so I'm gonna get her done. So let's go take a look at those things. There it is, all lit up. I think it looks really good. It's got 3 little stars at the top because there's no real topper to it. But I'm really happy with how the Christmas tree turned out. Came from the cabin, so it's nice and fresh. I water it every day. And I've been using some of the pine needles to make tea, and so at the end of the season, you know, I'll be making lots of things with it, and anything else that I won't be using, whether go to make firewood or get composted. Here's a quick peek at where we are with the canvas baker's tent. So you can see here I've got the fly all done. Woohoo. And I've got the 2 doors. That's one side of the door, the other side of the door. And the main body of the tent is on the ground. That's what I'm working on right now. Then of course I'll use the buckles and stuff to kind of put the doors on and snaps to put the doors on. Got to do the wings as well. Oh, we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Thanks so much for tuning in today, guys, for my update. And I hope you have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.